This is a special presentation of 4 Star Sports Media. Welcome to the 4 Star Sports Media College Football Pick'em Show. Now, live from the BA Mask Studios, here's your host, from the Point, Wes Pruitt. Hey, it is Razorback Zach live from the Hog Pen here in Central Arkansas. Welcome to the College Football Pick'em Show on the 4 Star Sports Radio Network. I, of course, am not Wes Pruitt. He is over to my left, right, whatever. And, of course, joined in by the rest of the gang, Christian Johnston on the bottom and Nate. Whew! Boys, it's a hell of a week, man. Hell of a week. Got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about the transfer portal, the coaching carousel. We're going to review what happened Monday night with the absolute, I'm not even calling it a beat down. I'm just going to call it a complete demolishment, if that's even a word. Demolition. Let's put it that way. Demolition. There we go. Of TCU against Georgia. And what happens now? Is Georgia a new dynasty? We're going to talk about all that and more. So, gentlemen, how are we doing? Wes, what's up, man?
Man, what is going on, Zach? What a wild college football season, and what a very interesting way to close it. After the semifinal games that we saw, I wasn't expecting that to happen on Monday night. But I think the word you're looking for in the intro there was the word annihilation by Georgia. Georgia absolutely annihilated TCU.
I was just trying to be nice about it. So.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Zach, real quick, man, we do got to give a real quick shout out to Heritage Fence Company. You see the logo on the top right-hand corner of the screen. Got to give a quick shout out to Corey McCrone and John Michael Hawley. Nathan Wilson and I have known those guys for 20 plus years. Two incredible men, two incredible husbands, two incredible men of faith. But more importantly, they're two incredible hard workers. Heritage Fence Company will get you taken care of. Anything residential, commercial, anything you need, reach out to them, let them know. They also do custom work as well. Man, these guys are incredible. Check them out at Heritage Fence TN on Facebook. Tell them that 4 Star Sports Media sent you, and they will get you taken care of for sure. But Corey McCrone, John Michael Hawley, we thank you guys as well. Also, the sponsor of all of our articles at our incredible website, 4star.live. I apologize, Zach. Go ahead.
No, man, you're good. Nate, how you doing, man? It's been a while since we've seen you on here. How do you feel, Mr. Alabama? And we're not even going to talk about what happened last night. We're leaving that alone. We're talking about football.
Okay. We will not talk about how Alabama beat Arkansas in Arkansas. We will not talk about how Arkansas tied it up at halftime, 33-33. Devo Davis, we will not talk about how he did a great job in the first half. But when you got that pick and shoot by Brandon Miller and he knocking down the threes like he's freaking not unstoppable around there, can't miss, we won't talk about that. I'm sorry. We won't talk about that.
Anyway, Christian, how are you, dude?
I'm good. I was actually at the game last night, and I got to say the crowd had a lot to do with it. Why the game was so close, I think. Arkansas definitely has some offensive struggles. Brandon Miller, I've never seen one player take over a game in like 40 seconds that entire
40
game.
seconds. That's all he needed.
Yeah.
Everybody was into the game, and then all of a sudden he hit like 2 or 3 threes in a row, and it was over.
Yeah. He had 0 points in the first half, and then ended up having like 15 or 18 in the second half.
I want to know what Nate Oates said in that timeout right before that, because whatever happened, I mean, it changed. Something changed.
Look, let me tell you something about Nate Oates and Eric Musselman. These two coaches, they were saying last night, I mean, it was a very physical basketball matchup, okay? And I loved it. I loved how physical it was. A lot of bad calls, of course, and all that. But they even said, these two coaches, when they pulled them both to the center court, neither one of them would even look at each other.
That reminds me, there was an Alabama fan sitting in front of me, like by himself, and he was dressed in a suit. And I don't know if he was trying to be Nate Oates or what, but man, he was, into the game and ticking off a bunch of Arkansas fans. It was kind of funny to watch, but
the suit is for one of our biggest fans that we ended up losing. He passed away a few years ago. I think it was last year or the year before that. He was a big part of the Alabama fan base, student section. So a lot of people wear the coat for him, the dress coat for him. And like I said, he played a big part to our fan base, our student section. But when you talk about these two coaches, though, I mean, you just about wanted to just see a boxing match between them two because of how angry they can both get, and how much they care about the programs and their team, their players. I mean, you saw it all out there.
Oh, man. Make sure you guys visit 4star.live to stay up to date for all things going on with us here at 4Star Sports Media. We got some big things in the works, and gonna be some big things happening with 4Star.
Got the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. I've got a couple other things going on that you guys are going to want to pay attention to. So, boys, let's jump straight into this, and let's talk about the transfer portal for a minute. Now, earlier this week, the NCAA kind of made it a little bit more difficult for me. When you look at that new rule, you're not going to see a lot more transfers like you have been. I mean, there's a record this year, like 1,300 or 1,500 or something like that, that entered in the day one. What do you think, and what kind of an impact do you think that rule is going to have moving forward?
Man, I mean, I think it's going to slow it down. So what the rule does is it impedes players from being able to go, okay, I transferred out. Oh, okay, I don't like it here. Okay, let me go over here. Oh, I don't like it here either. Let me go try here. And next thing you know, they've worn 5 pair of underwear and 5 different jerseys. So it's kind of ridiculous how they do it. But this new rule is going to impede that. It's going to take that away. And I think it's good for college football. It's good for college athletics in general. You don't want to see, especially with the NIL in effect. And we talked about this last week with Tony Siracusa. With the NIL in effect, you don't want to see this taking place because you're going to have companies, JB Hunt here in Arkansas and others, that's going to lose money. They're going to lose money because they're going to give these guys fat ass contracts, and they're going to jump like a freaking frog to a lily pad because they're not happy.
Well, but I'll tell you this, and you guys can disagree or agree, whatever. I honestly believe there needs to be a cap on the NIL deals at $500,000. No kid needs to be making millions of dollars in college for just 1 year. The other thing is there needs to be a clause in these NIL deals that if you transfer from that school before, like a 2-year minimum, let's just go with a 2-year minimum. If you transfer before then, any of that money that you use, you got to pay back to them. Because these kids are signing these NIL deals, they're keeping that money, then they're transferring and signing another NIL deal at the new school. Mm-hmm. And sooner or later, you're going to have, Nathan, like the Bryce Young at Alabama. You're going to have a kid making $1.5 million or more from like 6 different schools.
Look, man, let's also talk about this. Let's talk about what's going on right now with the and Wes or Zach or Christian, one of y'all is going to know the name. I think it's like Rashid, or something like that. That is actually made a commitment to Miami, then jumped, and then made a commitment to Florida, and now he's trying to get out of Florida. Now he wants to go.
The name doesn't. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I don't remember it. But I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't think of his name either. It slips my mind. But
Miami gave him so much money to come to Miami. Then he just ups and leaves Miami. Wasn't even there for a day or so. Then he goes to Florida, and then he's like, "No, I don't want to be here either." So I'm gonna try to.
What that sounds like to me is he's literally trying to take advantage of the system. I mean,
right.
Exactly what he's doing.
But Christian, you're absolutely right. But here's the thing: you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Eventually, you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we talked about it last week. Tony talked about it in detail. Actually, this new college president that's coming in, there's things that are going to happen. The ball is already rolling on it. It's already started. Yeah. But you're going to see caps. You're going to see contract clauses. You're going to see more things in place that's going to make this more of I don't want to say necessarily an even playing field, but it's going to give it more formality is the right term. It's going to give it more, but it's going to be on a national level. Tennessee's not going to have their own law. Arkansas is not going to have their own law. By God, Florida's going nuts. So it's going to be on a national level. And Zach, I think when you look at the transfer portal, as jumping as it's been, it's really a free agency period because you're only in it for 60 days, a la just like the NFL, or pretty close to it. But now that this law or rule is going into effect, it's going to change this, and you're going to see more teams like Memphis, Arkansas, for example, and others that's going to be able to pull in higher rank recruits.
Well, yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Nick.
But I want to add this as well. I mean, when you look at it, y'all got to remember this transfer portal this past season, it was record numbers, guys. You had thousands upon thousands of players going into it. Texas A&M lost 24 players to the transfer portal. Alabama lost like 15 or something like that. And these guys,
3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and these guys, and I'm gonna be honest with you, as an Alabama fan, we have not played the transfer portal very well. I mean, we got one player from we got the tight end from Maryland. We picked him up. And then other than that, we've been recruiting high school players.
But Nathan, this is Alabama we're talking about. All right, this is Nick Saban. Right. Okay,
right.
You don't need. And again, look, guys. This is coming from an Arkansas fan. All right, Alabama doesn't need the transfer portal.
But here's the thing. Here's the one thing you got to look at is you got Bama fans out there that are not impressed with Jalen Milroe to be your starting quarterback.
The boy runs 25 miles an hour.
I understand that, and I believe in Jalen Milroe. But there are fans out there that are like, no, we need a pocket passer. The last pocket passer that worked out for us was Mac Jones. Everybody knows that. But
we had to throw to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You had Bryce Young, for instance. Bryce Young had made the guys that he had better. And we lost a good bit. But let me tell you something. Lane Kiffin and Mike Norvell
killing it in the portal right now.
Are killing it right now.
Yes.
Man. They are freaking killing it. Mike Norvell is like unstoppable right now.
They are preseason ranked way, way, way too early. Preseason ranked number 4 in the nation. I completely agree with it. 110%.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if that's okay, if that's the case, what happened to A&M? A&M had the number 1 recruiting class and couldn't do crap with it.
They were players.
The difference is what Jimbo did in the high school ranks. Norvell is doing in the transfer portal. Plus, he's bringing in top talent from the high school ranks.
Yep.
But the second difference is this, and you can call me nuts. Mike Norvell is a better football coach than Jimbo Fisher is.
Yes, most definitely. I agree.
You're not nuts. You're not nuts on that point.
I will agree with that because here's the thing. Mike Norvell and Wes, I'm going to call this right now. Mike Norvell will be not only in the college football playoffs, but he will be winning a national championship within the next few years.
No question.
Florida State.
I give it within the next 5.
And I may be in the minority here, but yes, NIL is good and all that. But at the end of the day, if you're going to win, you got to get players that want to be there too at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Over on the Heritage Fan Company live fan feedback, Josh Wilbank says, "What's up, guys?" And then one of our sponsors, Chef James Harris of Harris Made Chef Services, says, "Good evening. The kids should pay it back, or the other school needs to pay it."
Yeah.
Talking about NIL money.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Christian. I'm sorry, bud.
No, I mean, just, you look at Georgia, they had obviously great talent this year, but you didn't hear a lot of it seemed like they were a well-oiled machine this year. They didn't have a lot of drama. They didn't have a lot of people transfer.
This year?
Well, last year too, but especially this year. I mean, what Kirby did there. I mean, I feel like he is. I don't know if he's mastered the transfer portal. He doesn't really need the portal, but he's mastered the today's college football. He knows, what it takes. Kind of like Nick Saban. Nick Saban's adjusted, and I think, it's. I don't know. Saban's just. He's still up there. Obviously, he's just Kirby Smart's. I don't know what he's got over him right now, but he's got something over him.
Look, let me put it this way, and this is coming from an Alabama fan, dude. Kirby Smart, any diehard Bama fan knows the kind of coach Kirby Smart was and what he did at Alabama as a defense coordinator. We were unstoppable. Nobody wanted to face Alabama's defense back when Kirby Smart was coaching was over the defense. When Kirby Smart left, the one thing that you'll hear Nick Saban say is the one coach that is like best friends with him that, and he sees great things out of is Kirby Smart. And he's seeing it. He's seeing what Kirby Smart's doing out there at Georgia. I mean, and let's not forget, this is also Georgia is the Kirby Smart's alma mater, right? Yeah. So he's going back to his alma mater, taking them national championships, competing, like he is right now. And he's up there now. Alabama and Georgia have both had back-to-back seasons with both national titles. And Kirby Smart is not backing down from that, from the dynasty.
So, fun fact about what you just mentioned, Nate.
I already know what you're about to say.
Go ahead.
First team to do it since 2011, 2012. Mm-hmm. Kirby Smart was on all 4 teams.
Yep.
Kirby Smart was on 4 teams.
I don't think
was. All right, so
I love that stat. I love
just
that
like
stat.
The transfer portal, the coaching carousel keeps right on spinning.
Yeah.
All right. And we have seen coaches drop, and this goes for both NFL and the collegiate level. But it all started with Jackson State primetime going to Colorado, and then you see Barry Odom getting hired on at UNLV. You've seen Bobby Petrino get hired on at UNLV and go, yeah, let's go back to the SEC and get hired on as offensive coordinator at A&M. I
don't look to that.
This is an every year thing. You're always going to see a coach get let go or get fired.
Yeah, but you're forgetting one of the biggest ones, man. Hugh Freeze is back in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something. That's another coach that's doing his thing in the transfer portal.
Oh, God,
Hugh Freeze is killing it right now. But, I mean, and the thing is,
I already hate Auburn as it is.
A&M and Auburn, 2 teams I don't like either, but
I know, Christian, I have an unbelievably level of hatred for Auburn more than A&M right now.
Yeah.
But
you loathe them.
But here's the thing. You got all these coaches and everything, and, there's a lot of big talk about Jim Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
Is he coming back to Michigan? Is he going to Denver? Is he going to the NFL? Is he going to try a shot out there? I mean,
see, I think that's Sean Payton's job to lose at Denver.
Why would he go there? I don't. This is not an NFL show, but still, I don't understand why he would go there. But let me throw this.
Why would Jim Harbaugh go there?
Because he has always said he wants another shot at the NFL. He's always said that since the day he came to Michigan. Mm-hmm. But here's a name that I'm going to throw out at you that just recently let go in the NFL that I think you can see pop up in college, and that's Cliff Kingsbury.
I was just fixing to say Cliff Kingsbury.
Yes.
That guy right there. Now, speaking of the transfer portal, we saw TCU's Garrett Riley Lincoln Riley's brother, now at Clemson as their new offensive coordinator, as Dabo let their offensive coordinator go. Very surprised Dabo didn't reach out to Cliff, but I could also see that as kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Oil and water. You know what I mean? They don't mix.
They don't
Fire and
mix.
gasoline.
Because
Yeah,
here's
exactly.
the thing. Here's the thing. All right, so Bill O'Brien is tied to a few offense coordinator jobs. One being New England.
Yeah.
There's another one being tied in with a couple of head coaching jobs in the NFL. So when you lose that, Alabama's looking for offense coordinator. A lot of people are talking about, well, Kingsbury will he come to the Alabama or to the Nick Saban coaching school, whatever, like a lot of coaches do. But here's the thing about that. It's like what Wes said. It probably won't go well because Kingsbury he has mentioned before he doesn't like recruiting.
Right.
I mean, and when he calls plays, he wants his place to be run. So him back as an offense coordinator, I mean, that's going to be. I just don't know if that's going to mix well with it.
Christian, you're kind of quiet down there, boss man. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, Kingsbury, I think he is more of a college coach because, well, I mean, defense is important in the NFL and college, but the way he runs his offense, kind of like Lincoln Riley, they say, that they don't play defense. Well, it's because of how fast they move on offense.
Yeah.
Their defense doesn't get any time to, rest. And I don't know if you can win a national championship that way. Lincoln Riley might. I just don't think he. He'll win a bunch of games there, but I just don't see that changing. And I was just thinking Kingsbury at Texas Tech, they never had a good defense. So I don't know what kind of job he would land, but I just don't think it's working in the NFL with Kingsbury.
Well, look, I want to make a prediction about Sean Payton, all right? And I've been talking to all the guys at work. I've been saying to all the Cowboy fans and everything. And I'm going to say it because I know I got 2 Cowboy fans on the show right now. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. The Cowboys will lose against Tom Brady.
I can see it.
You shut your whore mouth.
Wait,
See it.
because here's the thing. Tom Brady is 7-0.
All right, time to go to break.
No,
He's due for a loss.
Listen, just listen. Mike McCarthy gets fired. Sean Payton gets hired at Dallas. And then there goes the Cowboys right there.
I would love that, but Jerry Jones does not want Sean. He won't be able to boss Sean Payton around. He just
Exactly right. He's 100% right.
All right, that's going to do it for the first break, for the first segment. When we come back, we're going to be breaking down the national championship game and the complete annihilation of TCU. You're watching the college football.
Now we use my word.
I got to, man.
It was
You're watching
bad.
the college football pick'em show on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. Back in 60 seconds. Hey fans, did you know that 4-Star Sports Media now has a YouTube channel? You can catch exclusive content covering all things Memphis Tigers and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Shows like The Point, and the only show on social media about the Arkansas Razorbacks that is purely fan-driven inside the Hog Pen. Plus other shows like The Hog Trough, the 4-Star Sports Show, and many more coming soon. So check them out today. Go on YouTube.com and search 4-Star Sports Media. and welcome back to the College Football Pick'em Show on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. I'm Razorback Zach, live from the pen here in Central Arkansas. Wes Pruitt holding it down in the NWA, and of course, Christian Johnson, Nathan Wilson in the house. Woo! Okay, so we're going to jump right into this. And Georgia completely annihilates, demolishes, beats down, runs out of the building. TCU Monday night in the national championship game, 65-7. 65-7. Now, before we get into if Georgia is the new standard of college football, there has been a report. I don't know how true, but it'd be funny as hell if this was a real thing, that an NCAA official went into the Georgia Bulldogs locker room at halftime and basically called the dogs off. No pun intended. Don't know how true that is, but heard that they had to instill a mercy rule, which obviously Georgia never listened to. But
Right.
guys, we saw this in the early 2000s and even up to a few years ago. And no offense to Nathan down there in the corner, but Alabama running the table, running through everybody, winning after winning after winning after winning after winning. This year they got to the Sugar Bowl. Is Georgia as dominant as they are now, 15-0 this year, 14-1 last year? Are they the new dynasty in college football? Is this a new trend in college football?
Go ahead.
You want to start it off?
Yeah, go ahead. You're itching like a fiend. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. And y'all, I'm just gonna go out and say it. Georgia is the new dynasty right now.
Wow. I was not expecting him to say that. Wow.
Because
okay, go ahead.
Here's the thing. When you think of a dynasty,
you say that?
Yes, I did. When you think of a dynasty, you think national championship, defending the title. Guys, everybody's watched WWE. All right, everybody's watched wrestling growing up. When you have that championship belt, you're on top of the world. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets in line to become the top dog. Right now, Georgia is the top dog. Now, there are teams that want to knock Georgia off the mountain. Alabama's one of them. Tennessee's one of them. Florida State's one of them. Everybody's going to get their chance because we got this new playoff expansion now.
Not yet. There's still one more year of the 4, and then
one more year of the 4. So we got one more year of the 4. But Georgia right now is the dynasty, and I say that as an Alabama fan. We've held the dynasty for a long time, and we knew we weren't going to hold it long. And we're glad to see Georgia coming up and doing it like they're doing it. And guys, we're all SEC. We like the SEC a lot and everything. But have y'all realized that the SEC has held the actual national championship right now more than any other division, conference, or anything? And we're still holding it. And it don't matter if it's Georgia holding it, Florida holding it, Alabama holding it, LSU holding it.
So let me ask you guys this. Do you guys, since we're all SEC here, well, Wes is American, but we won't hold that against him. Do you guys
wait? He's half and half. He's half and half.
Yeah. No. He originated in the American. He's on the SEC bandwagon. It's fine.
I wouldn't say bandwagon.
He's definitely not.
That's a very strong term. It's a very strong term.
I'm picking on Wes, dude. He's my brother over there.
Go ahead. What you got?
Do you guys remember when it was all SEC West in the national title picture? And it was all SEC West, whether it be LSU, whether it be Auburn, whether it be Alabama. Okay. And then all of a sudden you start seeing Florida kind of creep in there in the early 2000s. And then you have Alabama completely take it over for a while. And now you're starting to see Georgia in the SEC.
Well, I mean, let's not forget Bobby Bowden in Florida State. were on a run there. Of
talking about just SEC wise though.
okay.
Yeah,
we're just staying SEC right now.
Okay.
I honestly believe now, and again, we're not going to include I'm not going to include 4 schools. I'm not going to include Missouri, A&M, Texas, or OU right now because they're not.
Of course.
They're not full members of the SEC. Let's just put it like that.
Well, I mean, when you go back and look at, Florida had their run with Urban and with Tebow and all them, and
then you had Les Miles.
Yeah, you had less, but I mean, you got to think Cadillac, and those guys back in the day, 04, that was a solid team.
That was,
but I mean, in the '90s, you had Gene Stallings at Alabama was solid. Spurrier was solid. Who was the other one in the '90s? Terry Bowden in Auburn was a damn good football coach.
So, but my question is, and my point is are we seeing more of a level playing field across the SEC in the East and the West divisions? Because everybody kept dogging the East. Oh, the East is the easy conference. The East is the easy conference. Now you're starting to see the teams starting to balance out a little bit, in my opinion.
I think what you need to see is this. It's not. Is Georgia the standard? What really it is SEC is the standard. SEC had you look at our bowl games. Okay, yes, we had a few of our SEC, A&M, Ole Miss got beat. You saw Mississippi State come out, do it for the Pirate himself.
Nate, real quick, I'd just like to go on record and say Arkansas was the first SEC school to win their bowl game.
Yeah, and Arkansas did their thing against Kansas, and then you had Clemson come in. They won their division. Tennessee came in, beat the mess out of them. You had Kansas State, one of the teams that beat TCU, come in. What happened? Alabama ran the ball all over them, beat the mess out of them. And then you had Georgia dominate Ohio, or took it to Ohio State, even though it was a close game, pulled out the victory.
Tennessee,
Clemson. I said Tennessee and Clemson.
Yeah.
And then you had the whole thing with, Georgia and TCU, and Georgia just flat out showed them.
Yeah. Well,
SEC is the standard. If you cannot,
there's no question about that. I mean, you look around college football. I mean, there's Josh Heupel said, "Hey, you want to pick the playoff? Pick the top 4 teams in the SEC."
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, there was a little tongue in cheek on that, obviously, but I mean, I understand where he's coming from. But to exactly answer your question, yes, I think there is a little more parity in the SEC now. There for a while, it was just Alabama and everybody else fell in line. Mm-hmm. Now you're seeing more Georgia, Tennessee, Arkansas 2 years ago. But I mean, you're seeing Texas A&M at the beginning of the year was pretty solid. LSU is a football team that I think is on the rise in the SEC.
Look at the job. What about this?
Now Auburn.
Hold on. I'm going to say this. I'm going to eat my words, Wes. I'm going to eat my words on this. And I hate to do this, but I'm going to. And I'm going to do it live. Spencer Rattler in South Carolina.
That took the words right out of my mouth. That was the next time I was going to answer. He was going to mention. So I mean, Zach, he's back. He's
back again.
So
he's South Carolina is nothing to be pushed over either.
I mean,
have you guys noticed? He's not in the college football playoff. He ends up in the Sugar Bowl. Nathan's a little bit more humbled right now.
Well, it's just because he got to see his coach on every single TV show that had anything to do with college football. I mean, they smeared that sucker's face all in our face with him on there whining and crying. And I was really glad to hear David Pollock say, Georgia's the new standard of college football, and have Nick Saban have to stare at him.
And the look on Saban's face.
Yes, I loved it.
But
I loved it. And I mean, I'm not a Bama hater. There was no sense in that man coming on TV and crying and begging to get into the playoff. And then, it's just no.
I like what some of our players tweeted. They had the picture of David Pollock up there saying that to Saban. And one of the players tweeted, they said, "Thanks a lot, David. Now we got to hear about this in the locker room. This is going to be the new motivation thing for us now. Now we got to.
It's just rationalism. That's all it is.
Watch Alabama run the table next year, and it's going to be Alabama, Georgia in the national title.
Look, this is what I'm going to say about the whole thing, and I like what like Josh Harple said. Top 4 teams get in; they're all SEC and all this. But when you look at the teams in the SEC, you had Sonny Dykes mention the whole thing about, oh well, the SEC, they always play these little small teams before they play, these big games and all this. Like basically we have an easy schedule. You come in and you face off against these other SEC teams. Alabama has shown it. You don't know what to expect on the other end. Tennessee just balled out this year. Nobody would have would have said, hey, Tennessee's going to have a winning season. Nobody would have said it. You look at LSU, Brian Kelly's first season.
I didn't have LSU winning the SEC West on my bingo card for 2022. Sorry,
nobody did.
Just didn't happen.
No.
But you have these programs in the SEC. So Sonny Dykes, the whole comment about they play these little small teams. Yeah, they play a small team here every now and then.
But look at the competition of the SEC.
Exactly. Look at the competition in the SEC.
How much do you think those comments played a role into the beatdown by Georgia?
Oh, I think it played very big
I can tell you this, based on the audio that I heard of the pregame speech by Kirby Smart, it didn't matter who they played, Alabama included. Georgia was going to run through whoever they played.
Yep.
So
it didn't matter.
On that point, Wes, when does Georgia lose again?
So I do want to start by saying this. Obviously, if Ohio State makes a field goal, we're not having this conversation right now. Yeah. Obviously.
Very true.
But I will say this.
2023 said,
True. But looking at Georgia, now the big question, of course, going into the offseason is going to be who is going to be the quarterback.
Exactly.
Obviously, Stetson, flip phone, Mac Bennett is not going to be there anymore. But man, did you see the picture of that kid? Like his pencil neck his freshman year to like now, man, it's like night and day. It's really cool. I think it's one of the greatest stories in college football that's ever happened because the kid is a legend now for Georgia. Go ahead, Christian.
The only weakness I've seen out of Kirby, and it still really hasn't changed. He finally came to his senses and played Bennett, but he's never been great with quarterbacks. Now, obviously, Stetson Bennett ended up winning 2 national titles and all that. And I don't think anybody really would have expected him to do that. It was incredible what he did. But even though he wasn't highly touted, the man knew how to win. And you just don't get a lot of quarterbacks like that.
In the post-game press conference, it was a press conference on Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning because Monday night the game ended at like freaking whatever time. So Tuesday morning, Kirby Smart on a press conference with the media talked about that exact thing, Christian, and he said that in today's college football, it's about finding not just guys who are good at the game. It's about finding winners, and that's what he found with Kirby Smart. And he said that he has built this program. He said point blank, I don't care about stars. I don't care what kind of stars you have. I want a guy who wins in life and wins in the game of football. And that's what sets this football program apart from anyone else in the country, to me, in my opinion.
Okay, now I'm gonna give you my opinion. You asked the question, who's the next team to beat Georgia? And
Arkansas.
I'm going to give it to you right here. And Wes, I'm about to blow y'all's mind on this one. I think Tennessee has a good shot. The game is going to be in Knoxville, and I think Tennessee has a good shot to knock off Georgia. Because
if it's not Tennessee, it's going to be a damn close game.
Right, because Josh Harple, man, he has got this new quarterback he's got coming in. And I somebody's got to help me with his name. But look, I saw him in warm-ups, and I'm not even eliminating Milton right now. Milton, dude, was slinging that freaking ball in the Orange Bowl, man. I've never seen a quarterback with an arm like him.
I would not be surprised if we see Milton in New York next year for the Heisman Trophy.
Guys, we got to go to the Heritage Fence Company live fan feedback. And Sam the Pun Jones chimes in and says, only weakness UGA has is they haven't murdered a quarterback yet. They don't just hit, they hunt kill shots.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right.
Smart said it Monday night. He said, it's time to hunt. We
didn't come to paint.
We got one more time to go.
Look, I'm on one tonight, y'all. I'm up.
Well, look. Let me tell you something. Right now, if I was Kirby Smart, there's a big name in the transfer portal, and that's Howard. Howard came from LSU. Is supposedly was supposed to be the quarterback for LSU. The man has got a gun on him, and I promise you, if Kirby Smart works that magic and pulls him out of that transfer portal to Georgia, oh, dude. Georgia's offense is going to be firing on all cylinders.
If I was Georgia, I'd be for another. I don't think you can find another Stetson Bennett, but I'd be looking for somebody like. I know you can't, but I mean, just think of how it was before Stetson Bennett got there. I mean, Georgia had all this talent, and it just something wasn't meshing with the quarterback. And then here comes Stetson Bennett. It's like, I don't want to give him too much credit for the success, but at the end of the day, I mean, obviously their defense won them both of those titles. But
heck, there's talk that Stetson Bennett ain't even going to the NFL draft, that he's going to join the Georgia's coaching staff. Wow. There was rumors talking about that.
Why would he not?
Sam Jones chimes in and says Tennessee will never beat UGA with their soft offensive philosophy. It might beat Bama, but it will never hold up 4 quarters against Kirby.
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that at all.
I think Tennessee can beat them next year.
Yeah, I do too.
That's just my opinion, but
no, Tennessee is killing it in the transfer portal right now, and they've got their quarterback that they want. They've got 2 good quarterbacks right now. Both of them have a strong arm. Both of them can be mobile. One's bigger than the other, of course, because Milton's a freaking freight train.
Yeah.
So you're going to see this Tennessee team let's just put it this way. Josh Harbaugh has done an amazing job with Tennessee, and he's just shocked the world with what he did last year, and I cannot wait to see what Tennessee does this year.
All right, we are up against the break. Woo, this has been a fun segment. Next segment, I'm posing 2 questions for the future of both Georgia and TCU. You are watching and listening to the College Football Pick'em Show Championship Finale on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. Back in 60 seconds. Welcome back to the College Football Pick'em Show along the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. Razorback, Zach, Wes Pruitt, Nathan Wilson, and Christian Johnston joining you tonight on the Heritage Fence Company studios. Gentlemen, I have a couple of questions for you. And it kind of surrounds the future of both programs. It kind of evolves around Kirby Smart. But how close is Kirby Smart from being the best coach in the country?
He might be there right now, but I think, winning back-to-back titles is very hard to do. And obviously Alabama and Saban have had their share of back-to-back titles. if he wins a third one in a row, there's no doubt. I mean, that's something that doesn't happen. I mean, if you can get your 3 in a row, that would be cement him. I think the Alabama dynasty talk would be completely put to bed, but I think right now you still got to respect, at least to some degree. You can't ever count completely Alabama out. Saban's gonna. I don't think the motivation. I don't think Saban's had any more motivation than he has right now to win another title. I mean, he's watching his his protege, or he may be the word I'm looking for. He's watching Kirby kind of take over college football.
Protege is the right word. Protege.
Well,
I mean that.
And a part of it's probably happy for Kirby, and I'm sure he's probably happy for Kirby, but also a part of him's like, let me get one more title,
Man, there's something, and I don't know what it is. Christian, all those are incredible points, by the way. Just want to say that real quick.
Thank you.
There's something about the relationship between Kirby Smart and Nick Saban that Mark Schlabach has talked about it numerous times. When those two names are mentioned to the other person, they almost become giddy. Like there's something about it. And I think when you look at what Kirby Smart has done, first off, to answer the question quickly, he's the best coach in the nation right now. He's won 2 national championships. Name me another coach in the nation that's done a better job than that.
He's also the first coach to go 15-0 in the current.
Yeah, that's very hard.
Exactly. And that you furthered my point and Christian's point for that matter. But I think right now, nothing against Nathan. Nathan knows I got nothing but love for him. Alabama fans are screaming right now. Look at the national championships. I understand that Kirby's only got 2. Y'all got what do y'all got? 30? Isn't that what y'all say? Y'all got whatever it is. Y'all
they claim 45, but they actually get 44 because we have one of them.
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever the crazy number is, as they say. But
18. It's 17 or 18.
Oh my gosh! See, you don't even know the number anymore. So, but
we lost count.
Exactly. But my point is this, man. When you look at Kirby Smart right now, best coach in the nation, no questions asked. I piggyback off everything Christian just said, plus more. I mean, I'm telling y'all, go listen to that pregame speech. Put your kids to bed. Put AirPods in something. But that speech right there, there's a reason this program is where they are today. That speech plus the performance tells me that's not the first time that speech has been said.
I don't know if that's Saban's personality, but I would like to hear Saban do that.
Okay,
that's not Saban's personality.
That's not Saban's personality.
No, look, let me tell you something. You have no idea how many fan bases, how many just fans of football in general would love to see, and everybody knows how Alabama is. They come out second half, it's like a whole different fucking team. Yeah. That's how it used to be. Everybody used to say, man, I wish I was a fly on the freaking wall to hear what Saban says to these guys. Yeah. But Kirby Smart is right now the best head coach. I mean, what he's done at Georgia is just outstanding. And yeah, there is a strong bond between Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. You see it. These guys talk. They go golfing together. The wives spend time.
Are best friends. They're best friends with each other. Yeah, it's crazy.
This whole thing is a close friendship. And yeah, when it goes down to the football field, they don't talk. they go silent from each other. But after that, I mean, it's straight love for one another. And the thing about this, a lot of Alabama fans, I get, they're all freaking, well, we got this, or Nick Saban won 6 here, or some shit like this. Look, here's the thing. At this point, yes, we've had our shares of the titles. I knew as a freaking Alabama fan, we weren't going to stay on the mountain long. I knew somebody was going to knock us off, and somebody did. And who was it?
It's college football. I mean, you're not to do what Georgia has done the last 2 seasons and dominate the way they have.
Right.
It's not easy. Kirby Smart talked about it Tuesday. It's difficult. He said that the grind never stops. He said Thursday after their last game, he was turning around the next day that day in the locker room. He was texting and meeting with his juniors on his team to try to make sure they didn't leave him.
Yeah.
He was already recruiting for next year, and this season hadn't even finished.
And
that is so much pressure on a coach.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to go to the Heritage Fence Company live feedback. The fans are chiming in tonight. Jonathan Parker wants to know, is there any truth to Smart to the Falcons for $80 million, or do you see him even going to the NFL?
No.
I don't see Kirby Smart leaving Georgia until either the man dies or he has a really crappy run and they, for some reason, let him go.
And Sam the Punt, sorry, Christian. Sam the Punt Jones has a question for Nathan.
Okay.
Says, well, damn, how long do you want to stay on the mountain, Moses?
Alabama, look, here's the thing. When Alabama was on the mountain, we had teams. You had Dabo Swinney with Clemson. Everybody knows how Dabo was with Clemson, dude. He had an outstanding year. Clemson was competing with us. You had Urban Meyer over at Ohio State. We faced off against, for instance, Kirby Smart. We faced off against Kirby Smart. We faced off against the Mad Hatter, Les Miles. We faced off against a lot of incredible teams. And we've got
Dan Mullen at Mississippi State with Dak.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so many teams out of the SEC.
There were so many programs that everybody forgets. And I'm gonna say this, and guys, since y'all Arkansas fans, y'all gonna like this. Y'all forget Alabama struggled trying to cover Felix Jones and Darren McFadden in the Wildcat formation.
Yep.
That was the hardest thing that we could ever.
Alabama still struggles to this day with any quarterback that has any form of mobility at all. I don't understand it. There's been like 7 defensive coordinators come through that program, I feel like, and none of them can do it. I don't understand it at all. Christian, what were you saying?
I just said, isn't it crazy how like Georgia wins 2 titles and we quickly forget the dominance that Alabama had before that? I mean, it just, to me, it proves how hard it is to do. I mean, Georgia seems like they're on that trajectory, but at the same time, we're at the budding stages of this so-called dynasty right now. I mean,
And I will say this: I've seen our schedule. I've seen Alabama's schedule for next year. We got Texas again, except it's going to be in Tuscaloosa. We've got Kentucky this year, so that's going to be a good one, especially with Devin Leary as Kentucky's quarterback now. Can't wait to see that. But I think Alabama, we haven't done big on the transfer portal. We've been doing big on recruiting. We got the number 1 recruiting class this year. And I've seen the talent that's coming in and the recruiting that Nick Saban has been doing and sending the coaches out and getting these guys to come in and commit to this program. A lot of these guys that are committed right now, they have told, look, this is what I want. I feel like I can be that, Coach Saban can bring out the best in me. And I want to go and play at Alabama. And so you go there and, Saban's going to push you. And it's like Kirby Smart said, he don't care about stars. Stars don't mean nothing. Nick Saban has said it too. You could be a 5-star and get beat out by a 3-star.
Well, I'll tell you this, Nathan, for a coach that doesn't care about 5 stars, he has a roster full of them suckers.
I know he does.
I'm just saying.
Wes beat me to it.
I'm just saying, man.
But wait a minute. It might have something to do with his dances moves now. It might.
Come on now. He doesn't hitting the Brian Kelly on him.
Hey, no.
Kelly.
No, he's doing the electric slide in the freaking
true.
In the living rooms. Come on, man.
So I want to flip the script and talk about TCU for a minute before we wrap up here tonight. We all know that TCU got demolished Monday night. What happens now?
They're just going to go back to being TCU.
Damn, Christian.
Damn, Christian.
I don't mean that in a. I don't mean that in like a very disrespectful way. I mean, I just mean like
it came out that way, buddy.
It came out that way.
Well, now that I think about it, with Texas and Oklahoma leaving, they might have a shot to win the Big 12 more. But no, I mean, they got a good coach. I'm not going to pretend that they don't. I just, it's hard for me to picture TCU doing what they did again this year. I don't know if. I mean, it's like one of those. It's like Arkansas. Like you might be able to get to the title once in 30 years or something, but it's just doesn't it there's not a lot that you've seen out of TCU's past that's gonna lead you to believe that they're gonna keep making playoff games and all this other but no, it's a phenomenal year. A part of me actually somewhat was hoping TCU won, but it just didn't happen. It was just, they were outmatched.
Look, in my opinion, on where does TCU go from here, I've seen a lot of players transfer over to TCU. Two Alabama players, Trey Sanders and Christian Larry, I believe, are over at TCU now, and I just I feel like this is going to be one of them seasons that they had a good run, because next year I think the Big 12 is going to have a lot more competition. I think Oklahoma is going to bounce back. I think Texas is going to come out a lot stronger than they did. Baylor, I mean, nobody can ever underestimate Baylor, because Baylor, you just never know what you're going to get with those guys. Right. So you're going to see a lot different. But will TCU make the playoff again? Probably not. I don't see it. I see a lot of other programs that I can name that I could see in the playoff, and TCU just it's not one of them.
Yeah, I will say this: TCU put themselves kind of on the map, so to speak. Again, I mean, once you make that title game, you kind of say, "Hey, you can't ever sleep on us." I think TCU, when people think of TCU now, they're gonna think, "Hey, they made the national championship."
Exactly.
It's not gonna be like, "Oh, that's just TCU." They're gonna have a little bit of respect to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, and when you look, let's talk about Sonny Dykes for a second. When you go back and look at what Sonny Dykes did at SMU, you think back to 2019 when SMU had that really good season. And Sonny Dykes did it through the transfer portal. He brought in, I believe it was 27 or 28 new players through the portal that season when no other coach was really utilizing the portal like that. Now you look at what he did this year. He just went and re-recruited the current roster and just sprinkled in pieces with the portal. So we're talking about a coach that can work the portal in two different ways. I think that keeps TCU around, especially in today's college football. I don't think it keeps them to the level they were this year. I think when you look at TCU this year, it was just a storied season for them. When you look at Max Duggan, wasn't even the starter at the beginning of the year. The starter gets hurt first game of the year, third quarter. Duggan comes in, leads them to a 12-1 season. This season just had a certain feel to it for TCU. Plus, let's be honest, guys, they got a little bit of help too.
Is he the one of the number one picks in the draft coming up?
No, he's not.
Who, Duggan? No, I don't think Duggan.
No.
I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's number one.
So here's your quarterbacks that
his daddy Hacksaw's got something to say about that.
Well, look, here's the picks going into this draft that are big names as quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud. I've heard Will Levis. I've heard Bryce Young. I've heard
Todd McShay's got Will Levis as his number one quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, there's talk that the Texans are going for Bryce Young.
That's surprising given that Bryce Young's in this class.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the NFL draft, not to cut you off, David, speaking of the NFL draft, 4-Star Sports Media will be in Mobile January 30th through game day on February 4th. We'll be going live every single day after practice. Practice is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be at the media breakfast Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, and Thursday morning with live interviews from the breakfast as well. We will be down there working our butts off all week long to push as much content as we can. Go check out the Senior Bowl roster. If there's any players that you want us to interview, any players that you want us to do a certain specific piece on article-wise, reach out to us, let us know, and we will do that for you while we're down in Mobile.
And I want to just add this to the whole TCU thing. The big part of that Sonny Dykes coaching staff is Garrett Riley. A lot of people don't understand how actually of a smart offense coordinator he really is. And for Clemson
he's gone now.
No, I know he's gone. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying TCU will not be back to that standard right now.
I will say this: if Cliff Kingsbury ends up in Fort Worth and TCU, that offense is going to be more potent than it was this year.
Yeah, but that's
But what
gonna
about the
be
defense?
yeah. The defense needs a lot of help because they
But
look
when you
frozen a
look
lot of
at
times.
true, I mean, again against Georgia they did for sure. But when you look at that, when you look at TCU as a program, they're built on defense. That defense will be back for TCU.
All right, it is now time for closing final thoughts here. Christian, we'll start with you, my man.
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of talking about Georgia. I feel like it's hard not to say that they're, I guess, the new Alabama for now. Uh, what this does is kind of make me excited for the next season because Alabama's going to be wanting to kind of dethrone Georgia and try to stake their claim. I mean, I I just have a hard time believing that Saban is not like in the back of his mind, just like I want to win this. I want to win the national championship this year. I mean that. I hate to say that because we've seen plenty of national titles from Alabama, but it, just the way Saban's wired, I don't think he's getting much sleep right now as far as wanting to get back on that mountaintop.
He's on TV every day. He can't sleep.
Yeah.
Nate, final thoughts.
My final thoughts of this, guys. The winner of the next national championship will be an SEC team. And I will not say it's Alabama. I will not say it's Georgia.
It's Arkansas.
It will not be Arkansas.
No.
But don't be surprised if Tennessee makes it.
I'd actually be okay with that, to be honest with you.
That's a bold statement to end the year, buddy.
I keep thinking about
defense.
I'm
just saying, dude. I'm just saying.
Defense. I just don't know if they've got it. They did show some good defense against Clemson. I will say that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You look at what they did against Clemson. But here's my final thought, though. They will go. If they go, Florida State goes too. Mike Norvell gets his national championship.
Wow.
I like this. I love this Florida State offense with Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
And that court, I mean, he's just unbelievable. And these players that are believing into Mike Norvell as their head coach, and Mike Norvell putting in all the work into this Florida State program, he's putting Florida State back up on the map.
Yeah. No question. No question.
I'm making a bold prediction. Ohio State wins the national championship next year.
That's not happening.
Shut your whore mouth.
That's not happening.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like it's one of those years.
No,
it's one of those. It's one of those years where the team's just going to win the national championship that you're not really thinking about. And obviously, Ohio State is a premier program, but it just seems like we're talking about Georgia and all these dynasty repeats, and then
but see, we're talking about SEC and possible ACC. You brought up the Big Ten. The Big Ten's soft.
I know, but look what they did against Georgia. I'm just saying, you got to respect what they were a field goal away from beating Georgia. A field goal.
No. They will respect the SEC's authority. Okay.
I'm an SEC guy.
We were doing so good. God,
I had to throw a curveball in there.
That was not
a curveball. That was a sinker. What's wrong with you?
man,
that was a sinker, and the catcher didn't even catch it.
No,
way to bring our show to a grinding freaking halt.
We were here. Now we're here.
Yeah.
All right, Wes, what about you, man? Final thoughts.
My final thought is just
it better not be Ohio State winning the national title.
No. It has nothing to do with next year at all. I mean, I think we just got to kind of enjoy this season. We're only going to get one more year of the 14 playoff, then it'll expand to 12. And honestly, I think by the time it gets to 12, we're going to see a whole new set of guidelines and rules all the way across college football. I think by the time it reaches 12 teams, it's going to be a completely different college football than we've seen in the past. But man, I think you just got to kind of, you got to enjoy this season, enjoy all the fun stories that we had. Think about the storylines, guys, that went on this season. So 2022-2023 season for college football was one of excitement, one of sadness. We lost Mike Leach to end the year. And it's one that I don't think we'll ever forget. But when you look at 2022-2023 for 4-Star Sports Media, then 2023 moving forward. Zach said it earlier on the show. We've got big things happening. We will be live at the Arkansas Gymnastics meet tomorrow night when they battle number 6 in the nation, Alabama. This will be the 7th time that Arkansas and Alabama has met in the last 2 seasons. Arkansas has only defeated Alabama 4 times in program history. So it's going to be a pretty exciting year. Jordan Weaver in year 3 at Arkansas Gymnastics. We'll be there live tomorrow night. 7:15 is when the vault starts off. Also, Inside the Hog Pen will be live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Razorback Zach, MC Marcus Carlton will be live tomorrow night as well. We will be sending them updates of the gymnastics event so that they can spit that information out live on air. That way it's instant information for you guys. And also tune in for what show Sunday's at?
The Ice Hog Podcast.
The Ice Hog Podcast covering Arkansas Razorback Hockey Club.
Forward to that.
It is, man, that show is going to be a lot of fun, man. Last week was a debut show. It's jumping like wildfire right now online. It is being listened to left and right.
Hockey coverage, 4-star.
Well, since Wes took my final thought, I'm going to pick it up and run with it because he just, self-promoted my show. Thanks, Wes. I appreciate the heads up.
It's under mine, bro.
Yeah, all right. Look, if we're going to get into the semantics here. Anyway, MC, like Wes said, MC and I are back for our mid-season premiere tomorrow night. Special start time of 8 p.m. And we are, see, if you would have paid attention. We are, I recap my trip to Memphis for the Liberty Bowl. We put a cap on it, and we look forward and talk about what's going on with Razorback basketball. And we look towards the future. Couple of weeks from now, Arkansas baseball gets underway, and a whole lot more. We may have some special guests in studio tomorrow. I'm still working my magic. Probably hold on, let me see if I can drop a hint here without giving it completely away. Probably a number 34 from Malvern, Arkansas, from back in the day. If you guys don't know who that is, you might just have to tune in and find out. Might just no Googling, Wes. No Googling.
Man, that sounds kind of nasty, Zach.
But AZ there, buddy. AZ there, buddy. But hope everybody has a fantastic night. And please tune in to Inside the Hog Pen tomorrow if you guys are Razorback fans, or if you're not, if you just want to learn a little bit more about Razorbacks. Tune in tomorrow, 8 p.m., our mid-season premiere. MC, myself, and a couple of special guests. I'm not going to tell you who. For Wes Pruitt, Nathan Wilson, Christian Johnston, I'm Razorback Zach here from the Hog Pen. You've been watching an all-new episode of the College Football Pick'em Show along the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. Until next time, so long, everybody.